If you want to create a truly scalable, sustainable business, I guarantee it will not happen without something we call an OS. An OS stands for operating system. And every single person here knows what an OS is because they've heard of iOS, right? iOS is what your phone reminds you it needs to update every couple of weeks or months. And it says, hey, we need to update from iOS 1000 to 1001, right? So, what is an OS? An OS is an operating system, it is the underlying software that runs your phone, your business. And what I want to share today is what exactly does a business OS look like? What does our Spyglass OS look like? And how can you install the right OS inside of your business? Because the core reason that most of our clients start to work with us is because they are trying to scale their company. They're trying to run like an iPhone 11 on an old OS, the OS back from like iPhone 2. And there's a reason, guys, that Apple discontinues its old phones and its old software updates, because you can't run the fancy, shiny, new technology. You can't grow and scale and achieve your highest level of speed and productivity and success on old software, on an old iOS. It just doesn't work. The system breaks. And most of our clients work with us because they've gotten to the point where their system is so broken that they're ready and that they need to upgrade their OS, their Spyglass OS. So let's talk about what your business operating system needs to look like. Let's talk about how you know that your operating system is due for an upgrade. And let's talk about how to install that upgraded OS inside of your business so that, again, if you're trying to run an iPhone 12, are we up to 12? I don't even know. If you want to run an iPhone 12, you're doing it on iPhone 12 technology, as opposed to trying to run an iPhone 12 on iPhone 2 technology, which is not going to work out for you, and probably why you're experiencing a lot of friction, a lot of slowdown, a lot of breakage inside of your business, right? So we're talking about a business OS. What is a business OS? A business OS is the operating system. It's all the operations. It's your systems, your workflows, your processes, your SOPs, how work gets done within the company. It's your team. It's the people that you have in place to run the day-to-day of the machine. Are they showing up? Are they doing their best work? Are they achieving the highest level of quality in their roles and the highest level of performance? It's the data. Do you know what's happening in your business? Do you have the data to make decisions? Does your team have the data to make the right decisions? Data and data dashboards are a key part of your OS. It's the communication. It's the meetings. It's the infrastructure. It's your Slack. It's the things that you have to do to send information around your business so that it can work and scale at the highest level. And it's your strategy. It's your leadership, right? It is the way that you are leading the business. Are you leading it in such a way where the underlying infrastructure is going to allow you to scale sustainably? Are you creating a sustainable growth for your business, right? So the OS is all of that, right? The OS is the fundamental software. It is the foundational software that makes everything else work. It makes everything else run. And if you don't have the OS, then it doesn't matter how fancy and shiny the apps are. It doesn't matter how cool the camera is. All of the features and benefits don't matter if the underlying software doesn't work. So I'm using this phone analogy a lot because it's the one that we all understand. But what does this actually look like in your business? Guys, your fancy camera in your business sense is your products and your offers. It's your marketing. It's your sales. It's the cool, shiny thing that attracts people to come in and work with you, right? The cool and fancy apps are all the benefits and features of your product and the thing that you have on the back end. The amazing way that you can serve your clients in the way that you want to serve them, right? These are all nice to haves. That's the reality. These are all nice to haves, because if the underlying software doesn't work, then the whole thing will break. It doesn't matter how talented your sales team is. If they're not backed by the right systems, then they're not going to be able to do their best work. It doesn't matter how good your offer is. If your offer isn't backed by the right marketing infrastructure and team, no one's ever going to see it. It doesn't matter how good your product is, because unless you have the product team and the product systems capable of running that product and delivering on that product day after day at scale without you, then your product is only ever going to reach a handful of people, and you're only ever going to be bogged down with breakages and client fires. So your OS underlies everything, and your OS is ultimately what makes your company successful or not. So the question I have for you is, are you running the right OS for the business that you have? Right? Are you on the right technology, or is your business due for an OS upgrade? Is Apple on your door knocking on your notification saying, hey, you haven't upgraded your OS in 6 months? Maybe let's take a look at that. Guys, you will know that your OS is broken, or I should say out of date, when things start breaking within your business. When your team is consistently underperforming, when your systems continuously break down, when balls continue to get dropped, when client fires continue to crop up and continue to happen. I dropped a live video last week ranting about how we had our first client fire in Spyglass in 2.5 years. And actually, it totally worked out. It wasn't even that bad. It was totally fine. One client fire in 2.5 years. That's because I'm consistently upgrading our OS so that we don't have client fires. If you are bogged down in consistent client fires, it's a breakage in the underlying software. You're trying to run too big of a business on too poor of an infrastructure, right? And so like a phone, like Apple, as your business grows, as the technology gets better, you have to be consistently upgrading your operating system. Because trying to scale, trying to grow without upgrading that underlying technology is only going to start introducing more bugs. And all of the shit that currently frustrates you about running your company, all of the ways that you're currently being pulled into the day-to-day weeds, all of the fires, all of the stupid questions, all of the low-value tasks, all of the things you know and wish you didn't have to do are bugs. I want you to think about them as bugs. And if you upgraded the OS, if you upgraded the operating system so that you have the right technology for the business that you need and the business that you're growing, those bugs would go away. They would just disappear because now we've got the right scalable infrastructure for the company that we want to create. So what is great is that it is not your job to upgrade the OS, right? It's our job. It's Spyglass's job. It's your operator's job. We're responsible for the operating system, and our job is to continuously upgrade it to keep pace with the needs of your business. That's what your operator is there to do. But the question is, are you, the CEO, giving them the time, the energy, the space to upgrade your OS? Does your operator even know what OS they need to be upgrading towards? Do they know what systems and team the company is going to need 6 months from now, 12 months from now, in order to continue to grow and scale frictionlessly, right? If either of these things don't exist, then you're not going to get to the right OS. You're not going to be running the right software. And again, all that means is that you're trying to run a fancy new phone on shitty technology, and the bugs are going to drive you crazy. And the bugs are going to slow you down. The bugs are going to prevent you from being able to scale and grow the most sustainably, the most scalably, right? So I want to take a second to dive just a little bit deeper into each of these kind of core pillars of your OS. What are the 6 core pillars that make up your company's operating system? So that you can give yourself a little health check and say, where am I at across each of these core pillars? And what's really cool, guys, I didn't even think I was going to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. What's really cool is that we are about to launch a new totally low ticket offer specifically to help you diagnose where your OS is currently at. Across these 6 core pillars, what's a health score? And which of these 6 pillars in your operating system is currently the biggest bottleneck, is currently slowing you down and stalling out your growth and trapping you in the weeds of your business more than the rest. So that by upgrading this one component of your operating system, you are immediately able to unlock your growth. So if that sounds interesting, if you would like to better know which part of my OS needs the upgrade, go ahead, drop me a comment, drop me a DM. Let's do keyword OS so that I know what you're talking about. Drop a comment, drop me a DM that says OS, and I will shoot you over the information for this low ticket offer. We're beta trialing it right now, and I'll get you in at a beautiful price point. You've got my word, so that you can learn which part of my OS system needs the upgrade so I can immediately start scaling faster and better. So the OS, like I said, is made up of 6 core pillars, 6 core components that make up the infrastructure of your business. If you have the right 6 components at the foundation, your business will scale and grow successfully. If any one of these 6 is out of date or broken, it will slow you down significantly. First one is strategy. Strategy, where the heck are we going? How am I, the CEO, leading my company, setting strategy, making decisions around where this company is going to grow and how we are going to grow next? If there is a breakdown in the decision making or in how those decisions get communicated, they're just not going to grow that fast. You're just not going to grow that effectively. You're going to see a lot of shit like your team being super reactive and passive, like your team just sitting around waiting for you to always come up with the next idea or always make the next decision. It's going to look like you having shiny object syndrome and pivoting that decision making again and again and again and feeling like you're working really hard, but ultimately you're growing and scaling and going nowhere, right? So any of these is a fundamental breakdown in strategy. And this is a key pillar of your OS. Unless your strategy and your leadership is strong, then the company is not being steered in the most effective and efficient way possible. It's broken, buggy OS. Number 2, shouldn't be surprised to anybody, is leadership. So leadership is you, right? You, the founder, CEO of your business, but it's also your entire leadership team. Are you the only person making decisions across the business? I just had my leadership intensive with my leadership team. There's 4 of us now. And so there were 4 brains at the table for 2 days, hammering out, how am I going to make this business better? How are we going to grow it to the next level? How are we going to hit our goals? I had 4 brains working on that problem instead of 1, right? So if you're the only brain in your business, then you are limiting the company, and your OS might need an upgrade. You might need more brains working on moving your company forward because it's just at that size now. There's just that many decisions that need to get made. And if you're the only person making that decision, or if you have a leadership team, but you're kind of underwhelmed with them, that's okay. We can fix that. But that is a gap. It is a hole. It's a outdated version of the leadership team that you're going to need to effectively scale your company into the future. Guys, if this is resonating, if you're like, that might be me, again, DM me, comment OS so that I can hook you up with this new offer that we're working on. Cool. Number 3 is team. So we've got strategy, leadership, team. Team is obvious. And you'll know, our clients always know that this is the one that's broken, right? Is your team just a little bit disappointing? Are they just underperforming a little bit all the time? Are there B and C players on your team? And maybe you know who they are, but they're still on the bus and you don't know what to do about getting them off the bus so that you can eventually have that dream team of A players that you've dreamed about. Do you have the wrong people in the roles? Do you have people that have been with you for a really long time, but you're worried that they're not actually the team that you're going to need to get to the next level? If you are working on an outdated team, an outdated operating system, then that team is not going to be able to get you to your goals. That team is not going to be able to perform at the level that your business needs them to get to where you're trying to go 6 months from now, 12 months from now. It's time to upgrade the OS. And by the way, that doesn't mean fire your entire team. That means up-level them. That means put them in an environment where they're able to do their absolute best work. It means letting the A players rise to the top of the pack and then truly identifying who are the B and C players and gradually getting them off the bus. So strategy, leadership, team. Again, guys, if any of these are broken, you will not scale as sustainably or quickly as you want to. Number 4 is communication. So we talked about Slack. This is Zoom. This is meetings. How is your team talking? If you're talking super inefficiently, if your talking is really disorganized and chaotic, all of that is slowing you down. That's like a super outdated, buggy software that runs really clunky and really slowly and isn't able to load as quickly and isn't able to come up with the best ideas because it's outdated, right? So communication needs to be tight, efficient, and you shouldn't be involved in every single conversation that's happening across your business. Let me say that again. If every conversation that happens across your business involves you, if you have to be present on every meeting, if you have to be there for every decision, then I'm telling you right now, your communication pillar of your OS is outdated. And it needs to be updated so that your team can start to talk without you. Your team can start to get shit done without you, because that is the only way that your company will be able to continue to move as quickly as possible. So strategy, leadership, team, communication. Number 5 is systems. So this one makes obvious sense, right? It's an operating system. We need the right systems in place. This is your single source of truth. This is your sales CRM. These are your automations. This is your task management. This is how work gets done, and it is the underlying systems infrastructure that allows your team to get their work done as efficiently as possible. The tactical, measurable example I can give you of this is back when I was a COO of a marketing agency. The average marketing agency in our space could handle, the average account manager, so individual role, the average account manager, client success manager at the average agency could handle maybe 40 clients total. My account managers were handling 80 to 100 clients each. So I was literally doubling the output, doubling the productivity of my team, not because my team was better than anybody else's, but because they were more productive. They were more efficient. They were backed by the right systems. They were running on the hottest new OS, the hottest new technology. And as a result, they were able to do their work way better, way faster, way more effectively, and without me. They were handling 80 clients without pulling me into constant client questions and client fires, right? Okay, so strategy, leadership, team, communication, systems, and the last one, like I mentioned, is data. Do you have, right now, let me ask you, do you have a single centralized dashboard where you, the CEO, are able to look at everything that's happening in your business? Do you have a single place where you can go, where at a glance, you can tell these things are healthy and on track, these things are falling behind, and I need to take a closer look at them? Do you know where you need to spend your time? Do you know which teams are performing well or underperforming? Do you know which metrics are on or off? If you don't, then you're guessing. You're guessing where your company needs to be improved. Your team is guessing on what decision needs to be made or what they need to do next. And they're probably, instead of guessing and risking being wrong, coming to you for everything because they don't want to guess and they don't want to be wrong. So they're just going to hand all of those hard solutions and all of those hard decisions up to you. So are you going based off of entrepreneurial intuition, going based off of your gut? Because if so, credit to you. It's been amazing. It's gotten you to where you're at today, but it will not scale well for you because you can't be the only decision maker across your entire company, and you can't only be relying on your intuitive gut for every decision, for the thousands of decisions that are coming your way this year. So data is what offers you clear decision making. It allows you to validate and prove and test your decisions to know that they actually worked. It allows you to push your decision making down so that your team can start making decisions because they're making decisions off of data. They're not just guessing. And overall, it makes the decisions better because they're data-based decisions as opposed to intuitive decisions. So guys, these 6 core pillars of your OS, one more time: strategy, leadership, team, communication, systems, and data. This is what makes up the operating system, the iOS, for your business. And these 6 things need to be continuously updated. Otherwise, like any other OS system, it gets outdated, it gets buggy, it gets glitchy, it starts to break, and all of that slows you down. It slows your business down. So which of these 6 needs to be upgraded for you right now? Which of these 6 is causing the most bugs and the most slowdown and the most frustration? And which of these 6, hint, is probably all of them, are going to need updating in the next 12 months for them to continue to keep pace with the growth of your company? Because the iOS that works for you at $50K a month is not the same iOS that's going to work for you at $100K a month, is not the same iOS that's going to work for you at $500K per month. It has to continuously grow and evolve. It has to continuously update. And if your operator isn't knocking on your door, knocking on your notifications every couple of months being like, hey, we got to update this iOS because it's getting glitchy and buggy, that is a problem. Because I promise you it needs to be updated. And if they're not the person coming to you and saying, hey, it needs to be updated in this way, then it is costing your business money. Guaranteed. So guys, again, we're creating a really fun, cool, low ticket, very cheap for you, diagnostic tool that's going to allow us to dive into your OS with you and identify which of these 6 is actively slowing you down, what needs to be upgraded, how much is it costing you, and what exactly do you need to do to clear that bottleneck, wipe it off the board, upgrade the OS so you can continue to grow scalably. If that's interesting to you, comment OS. Comment, drop it in the comments, drop it in a DM. I will make sure to hook you up with all of the details. Right now we're beta testing this, so it's like 85% off. 85% off right now. So if you want in on that, DM me, comment, and I will hook you up with the brand new deal around upgrading your business's OS. Guys, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions for me about your business OS and what upgrades it needs in order to help you successfully scale and hit your goals, you know where to find me. And I will be right back with more information next week on how to scale your business and operationalize the hell out of it so that ultimately, why we do all of this, you can achieve your goals, your impact, your highest vision for yourself and your company as quickly, smoothly, effectively as possible, and have the most fun while you're doing it. My name is Jonna Lee.
Jonna Lee! Operation Queen.
I just had my mind blown.
I am on a mission to build the world's best problem-solving machine.